So I want to create those, and I was reading a survey that was done by the King County Public Schools, are asking that the school system do challenge your kids more. So.
Yeah, that was one of the things that that Jacob was talking about. The goal that's put forward, the idea of having a 100% graduation rate. That what it tends to do is really lower the academic standards, and it creates a sort of an entitlement system that the kids who are not performing realize that they really don't have to do a lot of work, and they'll still get passed and still get their degrees. Is that something that you agree with?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's one of the things that Jacob Chairs was talking about, that the concept of a 100% graduation rate goal had the effect of creating an entitlement system where the kids realized that they were not going to have to work hard, but they were still going to get passed and still get their degrees. But they knew how to beat the system because they knew that they weren't going to actually have to work hard to be able to do that. Is that something that you agree with?
I don't agree with that. And the reason was, I think every student, if I understand what you're saying, I believe every student needs to work at their full potential and not get any handouts. In Queen Anne's County, I'm going to be honest, we have to work for our grade. We just don't get passed because we have a minimum grade. We have to work for the credit and to graduate. And if we don't make that credit, we get held back a year.
Okay. And so in other words, you want to encourage. You don't want to have kids that are getting passed, that are getting passing grades or getting degrees if they're not earning it.
Yes.
Okay. So in other words, it's okay. It's okay to fail a student that's underperforming if someone is not turning their work in on time. You're not going to give them an extra week to get their assignment in and be able to get a passing grade. That's kind of what Jacob was talking about.
Yes.
What are some of the other issues? I know funding is a huge issue, especially when it comes to the cutbacks with the state, and that's getting pushed down to the counties, and Kent County of not getting the full amount of funding that the school system, the maintenance of effort, and not doing maintenance of effort this year. I mean, because really the budget is set by the commissioners, but how can the school work smarter with less money?
I guess your question is, how can the school system work smarter with less money? Good question. But I guess you have to start back at, it takes it back to the administration. You kind of see how the administration runs and works there. I guess your question was, again, excuse me.
It's okay.
How can the administration work smarter with less money? I guess you're going to have to put people in certain areas and reduce on the stuff that you don't need, and making sure, so reduce on the nonsense materials like nonsense funding in certain areas, and put it towards the main important stuff, such as the textbooks and the academic interventions and the service learning and scholarship opportunities, or not scholarship opportunities, different other opportunities for career choices, instead of spending the money on board docs, or which is the Board of Education's agenda program, or spending it on. I'm always a support of athletics, but spending it on other stuff for the Board of Education, maybe cutting back on the Board of Education's pay a little bit.
Okay, and I guess really moving a lot, some of the things that goes on within administration, and move it more in, I guess, to things that deal with academics. And any other major issues? Anything that I mean, what would be the first thing that you would want to accomplish? you make it onto the school board? What would be really the first priority, the first thing that you'd want to work on?
Discipline.
Discipline, okay.
We have our discipline at the high school and the Kent County Middle School is very, very, very terrible, and I feel that it's not being handled correct. I think the board of the administration is making it look like everything's okay, but when I hear from different parents and different students that the administration is not going as well, I mean that the discipline is not doing good at the middle school, then it makes me a concern that the administration is trying to take up for that school's lack of discipline. And I want to revise our discipline policies that we do have in place and revise to see what kind of discipline steps do they have at each of those schools. Because sooner or later we want to create a safe environment for our students, but we cannot create a safe environment if our schools are having these discipline problems.
And I tell you, we need to take a break, and we'll come back after in just a couple of minutes, and we'll get more into to discipline, which I think is a huge issue in the school systems. One of the most important things the school system needs to do. Nivek Johnson joining us. We will be back.